Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Night Phase, bringing you my Dark Phoenix review. I finally saw it. I won't say this is my most anticipated film. Went in with low expectations. You already know this has a lot of negative reviews, and also with the early screenings and all those reports back saying that it was a complete mess post-production wise, just like the actors not really putting it in their all, because it was kind of like a doomed project in a sense. So I went with very low expectations, guys. So we're gonna get right into it. As I always do, I'm gonna give you my spoiler-free thoughts first, then give you my grade, my score, and then we dive into spoilers. So we'll dive into spoilers at the 4-minute mark. But overall impressions, I walked out somewhat entertained. Is this film the complete worst in my opinion? No, it's watchable, but it has a lot of problems. Not a complete train wreck. It is still a wreck in a sense, if that makes sense. I don't know, but I didn't walk out of this movie hating it. Like, oh, I absolutely hated that. It was dog shit. Not like to that level. It's still watchable, like I said. However, it is very disappointing that this is the last X-Men movie. The last one. And I feel like the last one should have been Logan if this is how they were going to wrap up the story. And, just a lot of it is so messy, so discombobulated. Uh, the emotional, arcs for these characters are not there. So these emotional beats fall flat because you're not really invested in much. The action is good, though. When the mutants are using their abilities, it's great. Still, though, it just falls flat towards the end. Did not like the ending. Some of the action was kind of lackluster. Now, we'll give you my positives, all right? There are two huge positives you can walk away from this movie. For me, it's Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. I thought she was really trying, putting a lot of emotion to her character. It wasn't enough to salvage this movie because, like I said, the storyline was very weak. Magneto, great as always. Michael Fassbender, he can never do no wrong. Those are the two best actors in this film. The rest, unfortunately, just they're like an afterthought. They're just in the background. They don't really stand out. They're not. There's no standout moments with the X-Men characters, and there's not a lot of chemistry between them as well. You don't buy the fact that they've been an X-Men team. They just feel like they're just there, and it's like you could actually feel it, see it on screen. Um, People say the Hans Zimmer score was the best part of this film. I will give it that, but it's not his best score. So I don't know people that really, really want to defend this movie and say, hey, the Hans Zimmer score though is the best. It's the best. That's the best part of this film, and at least that's good. So the rest of the film is good because of it. Nope, I disagree. Just because the score is so freaking fantastic, that doesn't forgive the rest of the film. Come on, no. I've seen films with gorgeous cinematography, but the rest of the film was shit. you know. So yeah, overall, I would say it's watchable. It's average. If you skip this one, honestly, you can, because you're not really missing much. So I'm gonna give this a 5.5 out of 10. That is my score for Dark Phoenix. 5.5 out of 10. Matinee it. You don't really need to. I honestly would just wait for it to release cheap on Redbox or on Netflix or what have you, because it shows. This movie shows that there's a lot of issues with this film. A lot more could have went into it, and I don't think Simon Kinberg was the best choice, especially the guy who wrote the Dark Phoenix storyline in X3: The Last Stand, and then just recycle it here in a more bland fashion. Is like, doesn't make sense. Anywho, here we go. Spoiler talk. Where do I even begin? Well, the first 15 minutes were solid. I did like that. The setup is good. It's good. With Jean Grey. I mean, we've seen it before. She has like a troubled past, and Charles is trying to suppress her memories. Here's the thing, though, with Charles. Let's go into Charles Xavier. I did not like his character. he was a lying, smug, selfish son of a bitch. He really was. And it's not James McAvoy's fault. It's just the way the character was written. It's just like, what is... He could have been the villain, honestly. He could have been the villain in this movie. And it's so disappointing what they did with his character. It just, wanting the fame of, the president, summoning the X-Men whenever they have an issue, and him not giving a shit like about how the rest of his students feel about it. Like, what? That's not Professor Xavier. Like, it it just didn't work for me. I just didn't buy into his character, and it was very off-putting. I did not like his character. Even jumping ahead, but even after Raven, Mystique dies, showed no emotion. Didn't give two shits. He's just like drinking his fucking scotch. He's just like, well, the things happen. I'm like, no, Charles, what? That really, I did not like that. So, the character choices here were done poorly. It just didn't ring true to the characters. Even Beast was like, what? Just call him out on his bullshit. Like, like maybe we should get the mutants away from you, because if that's the way you're gonna be. Now granted, it didn't, even though Charles was being a dick, it didn't warrant for the very forced political crap that was, maybe you should call it X-Woman by J-Law, that everybody is having an outcry about. And I totally see why, because that was just so left field. It was like, what? Here's my thing. Here's my philosophy when it comes to and this is the only time I'm going to talk about it, because I hate talking about political agenda-driven stuff, and I'm not that type of guy that pays attention to that type of stuff. But when it's done so bluntly in your face, so obvious, like the Batwoman trailer, oh god, don't even get me started on that. When it's done like so in your face like that, then of course I'm gonna take notice, and I kind of want to comment on it. The whole JLS saying maybe you should call it X-Women because the women are doing all the work around here. What? Like, it came out of nowhere, because before that it was like you didn't see at least what she's talking about. Like, you didn't see okay, like Nightcrawler did all the pushing around in the front. let's just be straight here, okay? Nightcrawler did the heavy lifting when it came to the space mission. If you really think about it, so what are you talking about, JLO? It's just like, oh god, whoever wrote the script is not good. It's terrible. It's crap like that. It's like, why don't you earn? You don't have to say it. That's the thing. You don't have to just flat out spit in our faces and just force it down our throats and just say crap like that when you can earn it, like Wonder Woman did. Perfect example is the No Man Land sequence. I just rewatched it, and what did she say when Steve Trevor's like, oh, no man has ever lived to survive No Man's Land? She says, well, I'm just gonna go do it. She didn't say like, oh, because you're a man and you fucking suck and women are better. It wasn't like that. That's my point. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to just flat out just spit it out, just regurgitate that crap, because it just comes off very cringy as hell. So I was just like, what? Like when she said that, I was like, whatever. It's just like, yeah, sure thing, Mystique. Yeah, what did you do again, Mystique? Besides changing into mostly men, I'm just saying, she did change into like the president at one point. Anywho, I'm not gonna get into that. That's just my opinion. If you feel differently about it, that's fine. Okay, moving along. Okay, let's just stick to the story. I did like the space mission. I like seeing that they're being utilized that way by the president, and just kind of like an Avengers team, which is pretty cool. They go into space, and then whatever, the Phoenix Force goes into Jean Grey, and then this is when the film kind of just I started noticing it just kind of halts, and it kind of starts meandering, and you're just like, where is this going? And no Magneto yet. I don't know why. That's the one thing I will say is, why didn't Magneto return as like an antagonist, like a foil? Because I feel like you bring the best storylines when it's Magneto versus Professor X, and there's still much there. They could have used the Dark Phoenix with her going to Magneto's side. And sure, it would have been like the X-Men The Last Stand, but here's my point. Would have been way better than the throwaway garbage as hell, bland as fuck villain that we got. Oh my god. The worst X-Men villain, hands down, is these Dollar General discount scroll looking aliens. They look like a mix from the Skrulls and that fucking alien from Signs. What? And they just like changing into these people and just like a chance saying the most bland, stoic, dead doll fucking performance. Oh my god, it was terrible. Every scene she was in just grind the movie to a halt, and then it started getting a little tedious and just like, can we just please move along? Because I don't give a shit about none of this poorly written, just horrible. I mean, even defend this movie. How can you defend these throwaway villains? God, they were just garbage, garbage, garbage. It's what really did this movie in was the inclusion of these like alien beings and what they're bulletproof. What the it just logically made no sense. It's like they just got summoned, like, oh, because Jean Grey sucked into the Phoenix Force, they got drawn into Earth. All of us, it just, oh god, they should have wrote that out. Honestly, if they wrote them out of this movie, I feel like the movie could have been way better. We could have had more emphasis on the mutant characters, on the X-Men. We could have gotten their characters fleshed out even more. I mean, come on. And the fact that this takes place, what, 1992? And the first X-Men is in 2000? Oh my god, the timelines are just fucked. They're just like all over the place. Wow. How do you drop the ball? You make X-Men Days of Future Past to erase X-Men The Last Stand only to bring back the Dark Phoenix storyline and then screw up the timeline in the process? What? It just... Simon Kinberg should not have like directed this film. I will even say should not even have wrote it, because why get the same guy from X3 The Last Stand to write the script for the Dark Phoenix? It makes no sense when you guys dropped the ball on that. You know, it just no, I can see now why people were not thrilled about this with the early screenings. And I heard they added that train sequence at the end, which was fine, but it wasn't the best. Like, oh shit, like yeah, damn. But I will give it that the train sequence was at least somewhat entertaining. Things were happening, and I was like, okay, finally, we're getting somewhere. And the way they brought back Magneto was just, it was just lazy. It was just like, you know. I did like the fact that Beast teamed up with Magneto, which made sense because he did care about Raven. And even Jennifer Lawrence, I knew she was going to die in this movie, but the way she goes out is just so half-assed. Like, just sign me. Like, Jennifer Lawrence is basically looking at us on the screen like, I'm so glad I'm dead so I can get out of this dead franchise. Basically signaling us, the audience, like, this is what I wanted finally. Like, oh my god. She gets impaled into, like, the wooden spikes. And, oh my god, Quicksilver. What the actual fuck? They don't utilize him. Like, it was handled so poorly. It makes no sense. Like, you know, he's doing his Quicksilver thing. I'm thinking, oh, this is awesome. We're gonna get yet again another Quicksilver scene that just stands out. Like in Apocalypse, his scene was the best in Apocalypse, and then of course in Days of Future Past. But no, he literally just like he wasn't even that high. How high was Quicksilver? Honestly, 9 feet high or something like that. I don't know. He just didn't seem high enough for him to just fall down in full velocity and just like, you know, and all of a sudden he's just all fucked. Like, he's just like, like, he's like paralyzed, or he's like crippled, or he's just like out of commission for the rest of the movie. After that, you don't see him. What? Oh, who wrote this? Oh, Simon Kinberg. That's right. He wrote the script. That terrible choice. Why would you do that? You know, why would you do that to one of your MVP X-Men? Like, the fan favorite is Quicksilver in these new X-Men movies. And you're just going to sideline him? Like, if it was like an actual sporting event, you're just going to sideline your best player? Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah. Just, anyway. So, yeah, you know, like, we get the whole thing with Charles just being a douche, just lying to Jean instead of being honest. It's just like, what? He could have told her at any freaking point, and this could have been somewhat avoided. You know, like he could have had better control of Jean, even before, like before the mission started. What if he just told her, like, Jean, there's something I gotta tell you. You know, your dad's still alive, but he don't want you, and I took you in. But Charles is just a dick. He's a complete dick in this movie. Doesn't care. He's so like selfish. Just cares about himself and like, ooh, let's take pictures with the president. Haha. He even makes a just a garbage joke about like, oh, remember you guys used the word mutants and you didn't like us at one point. Ha ha ha. Like, are you kidding me? Oh, Charles, you're just ass kicking these government, these political figures that hated the mutants. Are you kidding me? That is not Professor X. Just like, and then there were some wacky moments that just, oh man. Oh, like I'm telling you, the direction is not good. When the helicopter scene, when they come to like Magneto's paradise for the Lost X-Men or whatever, and yeah, she starts messing with the helicopter blades, and then Magneto's just like, and this little bitch is like, oh, oh. This shit had me dying. Oh my god. It was so bad. Like, wow. How can you look at that and be like, cut? Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, well, Fassbender, what do you think? Does it look good? No, it looks like shit. Don't worry about that. We'll add it in. What? It looked goofy. Like, you know, like the way they were displaying their powers. Like, Sophie Turner kind of had like an intensity to her eyes, so she didn't look as goofy. She was just like, But Magneto, my God, when he was trying to control the helicopter, he's just like, ah! I couldn't stop laughing. I tried to control my laughter in the theater. Oh, it was so bad. Why? You know, and then we get this ridiculous, unnecessary scene when Jean Grey, she's completely. We're jumping ahead. I know I'm all over the place, just like the movie. Okay, so bear with me. Jean Grey just crumples Charles's wheelchair. She stands him up and it just uses him like a ventriloquist like dummy. Like he's just puppeteering him. He's just going up the stairs like it looks so bad. That was another like unintentional hilarious scene. It's like the tone is so serious. It's like, and you get moments like this. You're like, what? What were you thinking? Shooting that scene and just adding it into the movie. Like, yep, that's the best we could do. What? No. God, no. That was. It just made Charles James McAvoy look like a total jackass going up the stairs like, oh, Gene, like, just come on, y'all. Oh man. And then we get like things like that, like moments where it's just so like out of left field. Like what? Like in the train sequence, like when Nightcrawler started killing people, his like motivation was some random soldier he barely freaking knew just start going on a murder spree. I don't like. The problem is I don't have a problem with Nightcrawler killing people because it was cool, but the lead up to that was him feeling sorry for some random soldier. He's like, no, all distraught, like if that was his fucking brother or something. Like what? He's just like, no. He just goes on a crazy rage. No. Like I did not buy that just because of a freaking random soldier you give no shits about, who was ready to take you to like the damn mutant asylum or something, you know, like whatever. And again, okay, Jessica Chastain's character. Oh God, these alien beings just God, I'm glad I got enough sleep, because if I didn't get enough sleep, I think her scenes would have just bored me to death, honestly. And she's a good actress. Like that's what I'm saying. Why include these like alien beings and just use Jean Grey as just a weapon? Like it was so pointless. Like they got cut out the movie. Got cut out of the movie. It would have made it better, honestly. You just could have cut down on the runtime with these and they were so just whack. Like, oh my God, their abilities just all over the place. Like they could crawl like Spider-Man. They were like on the tunnel. What? So they could stick to a wall. They can, ingest the bullets, and they had this weird power where they put their palm in your like rib cage and just crush your internal organs and you just die like that. I'm like, what? Just so it's so ridiculous. It just man, I'm telling you, it's all over the place. But like Magneto's intro, like his intro was badass though when he went to kill Jean Grey in New York City. I enjoyed that scene actually the most. And then Charles is there, and then he has like, well, he has the one mutant. His power is literally giving you whiplash with his braids. I shit you not. Like what? Is that the most creative mutant ability you could come up with? Oh yeah, let's get this guy who can use his braids like Indiana Jones's whip. Like, and then he had this other girl who had mind control abilities, but she only used it at one point. I'm just like, okay, and she gets thrown off the train. So there she goes. Whatever. But I did like Magneto's entrance with the train behind him, and he's just like, I came here to kill you, you know, because I'm freaking Magneto. Best part of this movie. And I was like, all right, yo. And it made sense that B sided with Magneto. I did like that aspect of the film going forward. Uh, is there anything else to talk about? I'm trying to think. Really trying to think with this film. Not really. It's just the rest is just the damn alien people talking nonsense. Just going about their just like hanging in the background and talking to Jean. Oh, you could do this. You can save our planet. Like who gives a shit? Like who cares? I don't care about this. And then also the rest of the movie is just Jean bouncing from place to place. She goes to Magneto's thing. She's in an alleyway crying. She goes visits her dad. It's just like, oh my god, like they really did not have a cohesive storyline here at all. Like no direction whatsoever. It's just a mess. And it's just, you can tell it's just mess that they just put together and just stapled it. They didn't even use super glue. They just used that regular ass glue trying to glue this shit together. And it just didn't work in the end. It's watchable, not the worst. I will say this: where it ranks up, I will say, I think Dark Phoenix is better than X-Men Origins Wolverine. I don't know if it's better than The Last Stand, honestly, because at least The Last Stand had Wolverine, and Wolverine is my boy. Oh, man. I don't know. Honestly, I think The Last Stand might be better than this. Yeah. To be honest, I'm thinking about it now. I mean, the thing with The Last Stand that I hated was the character choices to kill off Cyclops early and Professor X, but it had like a momentum to it where it was never boring. Didn't have that many dull moments, and we at least had Magneto. We at least had the X-Men fighting each other, especially on the island. That was badass. And even though we had cringy Juggernaut saying "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch," it was cheesy but entertaining. Okay, I made a decision. X-Men: The Last Stand is better than Dark Phoenix. I'm sorry, it is, because like I said, this movie meanders and it is bland at most parts. It is entertaining. Didn't hate it, but I did hate that ending though. Well, it's like, what? That's it? It's just like we get like a Dark Knight Rises rip-off where Charles is chilling in Europe somewhere. Magneto walks up and they play chess, and then the camera pans up. Oh, look, it's a phoenix in the atmosphere, in the sky. What? Like, no, what? No, I didn't. If there was a post-credits, let me know, because after that I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. And I'm out. I was like, I thought maybe I'll give this a 5 out of 10. I'm gonna go with 5 out of 10. Yeah, I was trying to be generous, give it 5.5, but as I talk about this film, yeah, it's feeling more like a 5. 5 out of 10. That's what we got. And what bums me out is this is the last X-Men film. I mean, this franchise has been going on for what? 17, 18 years, and not more than that, actually, I think, at this point. Since 2000. And they ended like that in just a little fizzle. Like, what? Damn. Talk about dropping the ball. I expected more. Was disappointed, but I didn't hate it, though. I didn't like completely hate it, where I just like, oh. And maybe the reason why I didn't hate it was because I wasn't as invested with these characters as I was with, the first gen, if you want to call them that, X-Men from the early 2000s. Now, if it was them and they put this this crap together and put them in it and just ruin all their characters, then yeah, I would have hated this movie with a passion. But since they didn't do that, they did it with the First Class, which I do love this cast though. I do like James McAvoy as Professor X, and I do love Michael Fassbender as Magneto and stuff. But just the rest, like Ty Sheridan as Cyclops. Oh my God, this guy! Why is he Cyclops again? He had the cringiest moment when he's like, "Yeah, what did he say?" He's a he said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go in there and kill Jean." He's like, "Yeah, you fucking wish," or something, something so stupid. Where it was just an epic fail moment. Like, stop, Cyclops, just sit down, homie. No, you're trying to be all badass. Like, like no, it did not work out. Their only F bomb was given to, this Cyclops Junior spaz ass kid. Like, really? The kid from Ready Player One. Like, Storm did nothing. Just a few lightning bolts and strikes, and that's about it. Like, I'm telling you, most of these characters are just in the background. And God, why didn't they transfer over those epic, just clean-looking, fire as hell X-Men suits that we got at the end of X-Men Apocalypse? Like, why didn't we get them in those suits? Instead, we get this, like, really cheap as hell, like, Salvation Army X-Men yellow shirts they were wearing. Why? I mean, they were going for this First Class, but even the suits in First Class look way better than this. Oh God, it was terrible. The costume department should be ashamed of themselves. Like the continuity, the continuation for Apocalypse is completely just butchered, because at the end of Apocalypse, if you recall, Jean Grey had the Phoenix powers in her, and then this force went in her, and then they said, okay, now she got the Dark Phoenix powers. Makes no sense. Same with the timeline. It's just like they just stopped trying. It is so evident here, unfortunately. Sophie Turner is such a good actress, and she's fine as hell too. But you know what I'm saying? Like she is what kept it at least somewhat engaging for me to, keep watching, at least give a shit a little bit. And of course, Michael Fassbender as Magneto, where I just can't completely just step on this fucking movie. I could take this movie, toss it aside, but I can't just like step on this movie. It's all this piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like I said, I would wait for it. Don't spend full ticket price on this movie. Wait for it. Redbox it. Wait for it on Netflix. Check it out. It's all right. It's it's watchable, and that's the highest praise I can say it. It's not a complete train wreck, but still, it is somewhat of a wreck because, it's disappointing. You expect more, being that it's the last X-Men film from Fox, and this is what we got. So that's unfortunate. Anywho, that's the end of my review. 5 out of 10. Post your comments down below. Let me know what did you think about Dark Phoenix. Did you hate it? Did you think it was all right? Did you love it? If you loved it, I want to know all the reasons why you loved it. Please comment down below and let me know. Thanks for watching as always. You're finding my channel for the first time. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to my channel. Hit the notification bell as well to stay tuned to any videos that I post. I said before in one of my videos that I'm going to try to cover E3, but honestly, I don't think I'm going to at the moment because, schedule's busy and have a lot of things going on. And honestly, I found out that Sony PlayStation skipped E3. What? And that's what I was looking forward to the most. Being that I'm a PlayStation fan, like I play mostly PlayStation games. That's my platform. So I don't want to do like reactions and reviews of the E3 coverage with like games that I'm not familiar with or I haven't played. Certain franchise I haven't played in a while. Like I saw the Xbox convention. Like hats off to them because I think they crushed it with the reveal of Halo Infinite. That was cool. And as well as Cyberpunk 2077, sorry, with my boy Keanu Reeves, aka John Wick, showing up at the E3 convention. Like, what? That was epic. I love that moment. I'm glad that Keanu Reeves is in that movie. In that video game. It's so cool. That was probably the highlight of the convention of E3 coverage. And honestly, I'm considering maybe getting an Xbox in the future because I got to play Cyberpunk 2077 and support one of my favorite actors, Keanu Reeves. But anywho, That's the end of this video. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.